The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hey everyone, this is Rose Daly, the City Sustainability Coordinator of Sun Prairie, and you're listening to the Sustainable Sun Prairie Podcast, the show that aspires to educate, empower, and engage our listeners in all aspects of sustainability. Whether you are a seasoned sustainability enthusiast or just beginning your sustainability journey, each episode will have something new and exciting for everyone. Let's begin the conversation for a greener community. Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's episode, we're diving into a powerful conversation at the crossroads of art and sustainability. Art isn't just about expression. It's a force for connection, education, and transformation. But what happens when artists become leaders in the sustainability movement? What do we lose when art is left out of the climate conversations? Today I'm joined by two artists, Raquel Sutherland and Mayela Finol, who are reimagining what a sustainable future can look like, one mural, one story, and one collaboration at a time. We'll talk about how creating art together can build stronger communities, the role of storytelling and resilience, and how public art projects like the Sun Prairie Sustainability Mural are helping shape collective visions for a better tomorrow. Mayela and Raquel, thank you so much for being here today. How are both of you doing?
Thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity and the space to talk a little bit about art.
Of course. How are both of you doing? Can you introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Mayela Finol, and I'm originally from Venezuela. And I am the executive director in DAMA for the last 8 months. Before that, I was the production manager there.
And can you tell us what DAMA is or what that stands for?
Art is a nonprofit organization, and the name is stand for developing our artists, muralists, and alliances. And basically we help the community and artists, basically the first in line artists, to have the opportunity to create art for the community.
Very cool. What a beautiful mission.
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Raquel Sutherland. I'm also from Venezuela. I've been doing art design since I remember.
Well, my first question for you is, can each of you share your relationship with art? I know you've both been artists for a while, but if you want to give us a little sneak peek into your artist life, that would be awesome.
I think in my part, I will start that I've been doing art since I was little. And the interesting thing, or the connection that I have with the past and the present, is like I've been doing art with the community. But back then, I was doing art with my family and, the neighbor and that type of thing. So I was always involved in some time, in a way, with people in art. And after that, when I grew up, I went to college and I got my degree as an art therapist. And I'm working at DAMA. And I also work for elementary school, which basically my position there is to create programs or create projects with the students.
Oh, very
cool. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Aw, how lovely. So you're working with artists in the community, but also very young students.
Correct.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's very joyful. I really like, or I really enjoy to do different age range, it's like adults, but also kids, and see the interactions and what they can do or what they are proud of. And it's a very lovely work.
That's amazing. I'm sure you learn a lot from the young students too.
Yes.
And Raquel, what about you? What's your relationship with art?
I think I learn in a very organic way because I think my mom being a teacher, and she was trying to develop this with me since I was. She says since I was 8 months old.
Wow.
I know. So she starts putting paints in order, some brushes, and just letting me be free. I think that's the main part. She just let me be free. I was also drawing in the walls. A lot. and they let me. So I think I didn't realize like until I was starting painting this mural, like, hey, I've been doing this my whole life, and I didn't know. Also, my dad is a plastic artist, an architect, and this perfection way I have it came from him. I've been watching him doing his projects and buildings, houses, also a lot of art projects, beautiful ones, because he's amazing. I've been just trying my best watching both of my parents. She being a teacher, she had a lot of like art projects to do with her kids, and I always was trying to helping her or being involved with her projects, and she allows me to help her because she saw in me something like she knew she can trust, like, yeah, you can cut this for my projects because I know you're gonna do a good job. And she never told me no. That's something like a lot of parents are scared for. You know, hot glue guns, she never told me no. or
The cutter.
I know my dad was always scared because he had a friend that cut himself, but also never told me no. So I think that part, like being myself with anything I want, is why I became this kind of artist.
Aw, that's amazing that you just had the space and the freedom to be creative when you were very young, and that art was such an integral part of your life. That's so cool. All right, so I have a question for both of you. I want to understand, how does creating art together strengthen a community?
Before I start responding to your question, I'm going to say that it's a joyful moment, okay, to see creating art with the community. And follow up, before I respond that question very technical or tell you a solid answer, I wanted to bring your imagination into here. Thinking about it, when you do art, when you are little, you do art with a loved one, okay, and then you hang that project on the wall. It will bring you memory. It will connect with the moment or with that love person that you did the project with, and it will inspire you. Okay. And so basically that is still in a big scale. Like creating art with a community is that. It's the connection. It is the inspire part. So in Dama, we know by experience that art is a very strong element. And making a mural is not just beautify the space, it's more than that. So Dama creates spaces for the community where they can feel safe, where they can heal, where they can connect with other members of the community, where they can talk, where they can develop their ideas or their opinion. So definitely I can say that creating art together is a very strong, how can we say that? A strong movement, I think it would be the right word. It is a very strong movement to do art in a community.
I agree. And I think something that sets Dama apart from other artists who are painting murals is the fact that you do always try to involve the community. It's not like you hire an artist, they do the work, then they leave. It's the community helps paint, or the community helps inspire the design, which I love that.
Yes. When I started working, I'm not going to lie to you, when I started working at Dama, I was like, what is this? How many steps we have to follow just to paint, you know? But then I realized and I understood the process, and I think I realized the power that there is behind so many steps before to create a mural.
Absolutely. I know it's probably a lot more work to do it that way, but then it has a so much greater impact.
Correct.
Absolutely. And Raquel, you just completed a community mural. So how do you feel creating art together strengthens a community?
At the beginning, I was scared because I never worked like together anybody. I am very perfectionist with my projects, and I was like thinking, am I going to do this like right, or am I going to stress out a lot? But I figured it out that is like how to know each other, like how to connect, how Mayela says. Because there's not an artist that does the flower the same way. And that way you can know like we're different, and she thinks like this, and I think like this, and it's okay. So I think this is what it's all about. When I saw the kids, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared, but at the same time, it was like, this is so cute. Like they want to do this, and they think this is so like they were feeling part of something bigger than them. So that part was like very like, I don't know how to explain that, but I was feeling like
very heartwarming.
Yeah, because I was seeing myself in them.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I think there was about 50 young students who had submitted artwork that you used to inspire the piece, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw them and I was like, yeah, these are good ideas for a sustainability planet.
Right, and think about how meaningful it is for the young students when they see the mural and they can say, hey, that bunny was something I had drawn in my piece that I submitted, or that butterfly was something I had.
Correct. And that's how you empower the community, and that's like how in some way you help them to dream big.
Absolutely. So what do we lose when art is left out of the sustainability conversation?
I think the main part is like we lose the human side of the story. Taking care of the earth is not just about rules or science. It's about people, feelings, and values. Art helps feels why it's important to protect nature. Without art, talking about saving the earth might feel too technical and might not inspire people to act.
When I was studying graphic design, I've been told like design words, art is different thing. When you put them together, you make communication. So I think the main idea of this mural is because not everybody learn reading or listening, so most of the people are visual. And I think this is when art and design comes together and makes something bigger. When people can see something and then say, oh, I understand now because I can see it. I understand this way.
It transcends language barriers, artwork does.
And it's kind of funny that she brings that up, because I can say a personal story. When I came to United States, the only way, of course, when I came, there was no translator, there was no smartphone, there was no Google Translate. So the way that I communicate back then, it was through drawing. I was carrying a pencil and a notebook, and I was just like, for example, if I wanted to ask what time the bus was coming, I was drawing a clock and a bus and a question mark, and I was asking people that way when the bus was coming. So definitely a visual element. It helps to communicate an idea and a message.
I definitely agree.
About the like the sustainability. So my dad also loved the nature a lot. I remember my house was like greenhouse. So he teach me a lot, like the trash doesn't go on the floor, and plants are alive. You have to take care of them. And I think this human part and being able to put them together is how you create good humans, because this is what we have, and this is the important part of the world. I think nature connects you with your inner you. I don't know, like you have to take care of it because this is the most important part.
Exactly. I'll share a story since we were talking about how all of us can relate to or connect to artwork in the same way that we can't maybe connect on numbers or data. A couple of years ago, I went to the COP27 conference in Egypt, Conference of the Parties, and it was an entire week of talks on climate change and solutions and issues and sustainability and how all of these countries can work together to globally fight climate change. So a very impactful and important conference. And there was a lot of displays there as well. You could visit booths for different countries. There was also a little art gallery. And I was there for a whole week. And the only thing I truly remember from that conference, it's not the talks. It's not, takeaways from conversations. It's the artwork that I remember. So I remember walking into the art gallery, and what I saw was these huge portraits of people that were made out of items that can't be recycled. So there was a portrait made out of plastic zippers. There was one made out of plastic bags, one made out of electronic components. And that is what stood out to me the most, because that spoke to me that we have so much waste in this world. And that's something we need to be fighting for, is better solutions for waste. Like you had mentioned, Raquel, like creating more of a circular economy and just remembering the connection with nature, and that when we throw something away, it's not actually away. It goes probably into nature and causes pollution elsewhere. So I agree. And at that conference, there was representatives from over 190 countries. So think about, some of them probably didn't know the language that was being spoken at the talks, but they probably could have also connected to the artwork the same way I did.
And it's so interesting that you mentioned that because your story remind me that back then when I was in my country, we didn't have that much resources that we probably have here. If you need a paper, you go to Walmart, buy it, and do whatever you have in mind. But we use a lot of recycling to do our craft.
Yeah.
See her face? It is interesting that in somehow now we are talking about the sustainability mural, okay, of how we can take care of the earth and be more greener. But at the same time, I think we have in some way a background of how to do art with recycling materials.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I want to revisit the sustainability mural, Raquel, that you recently created here in Sun Prairie. How do we envision that mural helping the Sun Prairie community grow toward a sustainable future?
The kids are the answer, because they're the future. That's why I put a lot of kids around, and their ideas were amazing. I was like, if these ideas came from kids, so something good is happening. They're learning how to take care their planet. And they're the promise of the future. That's what the little plant in the middle of the mural represents. Because they're just growing. They're that little, but they're going to be of that.
I also think this mural in our community, it will help us to feel inspired and to feel connect, and it will be used as a mural or as a guide, like the example that I give you earlier about this craft made it with a loved one. Having a mural there, it will remind us what we have to take care, which is our earth, right? And also it will help us to remind us how to be in a community way more greener. As she said, it was very helpful that this mural was designed by the kids, the students from Sun Prairie. And I believe that this mural is going to help our community to remember them, what we want to keep in our earth, in what ways we can be more greener. I think this mural, it can appeal to the story that I told you about the little craft made by a loved one. And so definitely this mural is going to be like a guide or a mural for our community.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a guide and a constant reminder of what a sustainable future looks like. And I agree that the kids are the answer to the future. They see sustainability so clearly, and it's not muddied by things that adults might be concerned with, finances or, perception. Students see so clearly solar panels are a great solution for the future. We should not be throwing a ton of waste out. We should have beautiful native gardens that are helping the butterflies, helping the bees. We should ride our bikes when we can. So I agree that the students are they're gonna lead us forward, and this mural stands as a constant reminder of that.
And actually, it also educate. Okay, because when we were doing the mural, I didn't know personally that we do compound from the corn festival. I didn't know that. And I was like, okay, let me know more about this. And it was kind of excited to know that in Sun Prairie, there is a project to install more, what is it called? Panel, umbrella? Solar panel?
The solar trees?
The solar tree. I was like, okay, umbrella. Yes. So I was like, okay, this is great. And I've been living in Sun Prairie for the last 5 years, but I didn't know this. So definitely it will inspire us, connect, but also educate.
Agreed, yeah. And I do think it's also, it shows the Sun Prairie community what we've already accomplished together, because everything in the mural is something we're already doing. The Corn Fest composting, the mayor's monarch pledge for the butterflies. We have solar arrays, we have solar trees, we have the EV charging stations, we have lots of bike trails, and you can see all of that represented so clearly in there. So I think it's also an opportunity for the community to continuously celebrate how much we've accomplished and then remain hopeful for a sustainable future altogether.
Right? Yes.
Well, I think I can add that I use a lot of bright colors because that's how you connect with kids. So they say, oh wow, there's a rainbow, let's see what is going on. And they get closer and they can see butterflies, bees, ladybugs. And they say, hey, this is part of something. And she's like watering the plants. We should do that. And I think their attention to the mural in the park is just a good idea to make this possible.
Yeah, the bright colors were definitely a great choice. And something else I love about the mural is the more you look at it, the more you see, because there's so many tiny details. And I think that's going to keep kids engaged for so much longer.
Yeah. They also, I think you said something like this game that you can, where is this?
Right. Like, remember that I proposed that we can do like a scavenger hunt with the mural. Like we can do a sheet and say, oh, find the rabbit, or how many
bumblebees.
Right. Or solar panels can you see? What do you think those cars are doing? There's so many powerful ideas that we can do, with this mural. It's not just beautify, as I said, it's not about beautify the space. It's about connection, and educate and inspire.
Absolutely.
Interactive.
Yes, it's a very interactive mural.
So on the same vein of art, I want to talk a little bit about storytelling. What role does storytelling through art play in building resilient or sustainable communities?
I think art is more powerful than we often realize, to the point that sometimes I believe that art is underestimated. Okay, when we see ads or when we see signs, when we see a tattoo, yeah, we can remember it. But if we add to those a story, you tend to remember it even more. Okay, and you end it to liking it more, or And I think it combined art with the story, it becomes even stronger. People remember images in the story more than a plain fact. Has it happened to you in Egypt? And actually, I was bringing an idea of, if I tell you the idea that Amazon is shrinking, you might forget the numbers later, right? But if I show you images, the before and after, and I tell you the story of the people who live there, it's more likely that you are going to remember what is happening, and it might inspire to act, if you can, if it's in your hands. And I think the reason of that is because our brain hold on to the visual and the story in a way that it helps us to connect with our feelings and visual memories. When people feel part of the story, they can face challenges with courage and creativity. And stories and art remind us that we are human and connect, even when times are hard.
Very well said.
As I told you before, some people learn with visual things. So in art I think is the most important of a visual person. And the mural tells a story. You can tell a story. You can see the story that there's this group of people taking care of the planet. Some are biking, some are watering, some are just taking a picture in a beautiful place, because it's what it is. It's a beautiful place. And everybody is just feeling part of everything. And I think, like, if the idea is clear and the story, and you can tell the story through the art, you're winning. You already, like, making this thing you can try to communicate and generation by generation, because it's a reminder. You have to learn story to not repeat the mistakes. So it's just remember, this is what we want to look our world, and for everybody being happy, because it's just a reminder.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I agree that people will connect more with stories than they do data, especially when it comes to climate change. I think it's difficult to connect to numbers and graphs and charts, or even to understand these big numbers that are thrown in our faces. Going back to the Amazon rainforest deforestation, someone could tell me there's 1 million acres of forest being cut down, and I know that's a big number, but it's hard to comprehend how big that is. But if you can share that issue through a story instead, it's much easier to connect to it. And I think when it comes to climate change in particular, there's some people who maybe are afraid to admit climate change is happening, or maybe they don't feel connected to it at all. But they do become connected once they hear a story from someone saying, I was displaced from my house because of a flood, or I was impacted by a hurricane, or extreme heat, extreme cold. And once you can share even those, small but very important stories, that can also, connect to someone empathetically, and it can get them on board with, helping to fight an issue or find a solution to a problem.
Right.
So on that note, I just wanted to say I see both of you as leaders in storytelling and art in our community, and helping us to move toward a sustainable future. So I want to hear from your perspective. In what ways do you feel artists can be leaders in the sustainability movement?
I think art is a tool that helps artists make a big difference. And I'm not talking about size. I'm talking about the impact. Okay? Artists can give a voice to people who might not be heard. And they can turn complex ideas. This is one big example, all right? And the sustainability mural, it's about nature, okay? And artists can help to bring that idea of nature, okay, and present that idea to anyone. Everyone that sees Raquel's mural can connect and see what do we need to take care, and in what is happening. The way that I see it, okay, is that artists and scientists are like two half of oranges, They are one, but one scientist is more about facts, okay? And artists are more like connection, making the community to feel. I think it both are a complement, and both can be powerful together.
I think like an artist that working on sustainability projects, movements, have to make the people have new dreams, new hopes. I think an artist that are doing a sustainability movement have to make these people dream and have hopes for the future. And it starts now. Like, they have to create inside them an impact that makes them move and do it. Like, just do it. Okay, I'm gonna start right now, because when I see, I want a clear sky, I want colorful flowers, and the mural is a great idea. Like, this way is like everybody can just walk and see it, think about it, and stand and start wondering, like, is this what we're working for our children's, our future? Like, you have to create an impact, like, right away. You have to create something that calls their attention and make them think if they're doing good, if they're doing what they're dreaming for.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think it's really interesting because oftentimes when we think of leaders, we think about powerful speakers or people who they lead with their voice. And there's a lot of leaders in our country and the world who lead in that way. But what I love about artists is they don't have to say a word. They can be quiet, but the artwork they create speaks louder than words oftentimes, and it demands attention. This made me think of an example going back to Brazil. I know we keep talking about that, the country on this episode, but you may be familiar with Mundano, a really famous mural artist in Brazil. He's also an activist, but he created this mural, and it was the biggest mural I've ever seen. I think it was 10 stories tall on the side of this building. But he created this large-scale awareness to highlight Brazil's climate disasters and make a call to end deforestation. And he used mud from floods and ash from wildfires from Brazil to make the piece.
Oh, wow.
And this piece is so powerful. And again, he didn't say a word, but this is a constant reminder that millions of people see every day because it's so big, it's so bold. And this is what people are going to be thinking about when they drive to work, or their kids are going to ask, what does this mural mean? Why is it important? So it definitely, like, artists truly are leaders because they can say so much without saying anything verbally.
And they don't have to actively keep repeating because it's going to be there. You know, it's going to be a visual support to remind the community that see it that information exists, and that we are the only one who has the power to change, our decisions and how to be in a better earth,
So my last question for both of you is, how do you see art shaping public understanding of climate change? We've kind of touched on this already, but do you have any other thoughts to share here?
I think art makes climate change is real and personal. As we were talking about the mural of this artist from Brazil, it is real and it make it a personal. This is about the problem that is happening. This is what we have so far, and it can show both the harm be done and the beauty that we need to protect. When we see pictures, murals, or performers, art gallery about what is happening, like animals in dangers or people affected by a storm, our brain react as if we are experiencing it ourselves. This is because of the mirror neurons, which help us to feel empathy and care. Art help us see that climate change is not just a faraway problem. It's something that we can all help fix.
Definitely. And you had mentioned performers, and I just want to highlight that. We've been talking a lot about murals in this episode, but art, of course, is so much broader than that. I was at a conference last year where they talked about this organization in Chicago that is now working on choreographed dances to represent climate change. So maybe someone can't connect to numbers, maybe they can't connect as well to a visual drawing or painting, maybe they can connect to a dance though, and that will be what pulls on their heartstrings and gets them involved in the sustainability movement.
Correct.
Dancing, poetry, painting, there's so much.
There is so much
that people can connect to that falls under that category of art, but can bring them closer to the climate change issue.
Yep. Correct.
I think it's how Mayela said at the beginning, it makes it real. Like it makes you realize it is a real thing that it's happening. Because a lot of people doesn't want to like think that the forest, the fires, and they just want to live their better life. But then this way you make them realize it's something that they should care to. Because if it doesn't happen to you right now, but you don't know tomorrow. So empathy is what art should create minds people. Any kind of art, like you say, dance, or I don't know, music, art, visual art like murals. I don't know. There's many ways on art to make people awake.
That's a good word.
Connect in different ways.
Yes, wakes people up to the issues around them.
Right? Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we're officially at the end of the episode. Do either of you have any concluding thoughts to share?
Definitely do not underestimate art. Today we explain in many ways how powerful is to do art and to be involved, to transmit, to connect, and to inspire a message. I just want to invite everyone to follow Dama on Facebook, because that's how we publish the art following community engagement event. And so that way they can still connect and be part of it. And also, I would like to invite everyone to come on October 4th to our event called Connect Color Festival, talking about connection. We are going to be having a lot of art opportunity for our community there.
Amazing. We'll have to check that out. We'll link that in the show notes too.
I think I would like to thank Dama and Mayela because they make this real. They push me to do my better and to create this beautiful mural. And also I would like to say, do not underestimate the kids. They're the answer, they're the future artists. As my parents said, don't say no if they want to go that way, support them, because that way they're going to do their better selves.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. This was such a delightful conversation. And thank you for all of the beautiful artwork that you contribute to our community.
Thank you so much again, Raquel, for this invitation. And I'm excited about this podcast going out there and inspire other people.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is the goal.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for listening to Sustainable Sun Prairie with your host, Rose Daly. I hope you enjoyed this episode and uncovered something new about sustainability. As always, you can subscribe to our podcast and listen anytime on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and you can listen live on 103.5 FM The Sun, WLSP-LP, and on demand on the Sun Prairie Media Center app. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, as well as our contact info, please visit the show notes. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.